Hey there everyone, and I'm glad you're here. This is Cloud Chief, and Horizon Zero Dawn's finally here. In today's video, I'm going to go over a few tips and tricks you can use to help yourself when you're starting out playing Horizon Zero Dawn. So, once you start Horizon and you get through a little bit of the game, you'll no longer be a child. Once you are an adult, you will actually have melee attacks, and I wasn't aware of this at first. I was only really aware of my bow and didn't even know I had a spear at first. And right out of the gate, you have a spear you can use. You hit R1 for light attacks, R2 for heavy attacks. If you're going to use your bow, you use L2 to aim up. Since I was just always running around swinging the bow, I thought for at least a little bit when starting the game I didn't have melee attacks. So that's something you definitely want to know going in, because your melee attacks, especially early on, are going to do much more damage than your bow, but of course you have to be close up. So, next tip I want to give is about animals. You'll see animals running around, and of course you're going to, kill a few of them. You'll see them with your focus and stuff, and, get some resources and items. But you honestly want to be killing animals as much as possible. I had killed quite a bit and accumulated quite a few resources and just kind of stopped, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to focus on the game. I'm like, I don't think I need a lot more, skins or stuff, but you need a decent amount of skins if you're going to try and upgrade your bags and, different things you can do. Plus, you need skins to trade for certain armor and stuff at different parts of the game. So, when you're going through, when you're seeing animals, you want to take out as many as possible. Not to mention the stuff like, the different drops that they give. You use those to craft potions. So, having health to heal is very important. So, definitely just be taking out as many animals as you can, at least until you're more than halfway through the game. Because at that point, you should at least gauge whether you have enough resources or not. But early on, take out as many as you can, and don't be afraid to mark them so that way it's easier to shoot with your bow. And you definitely want to do that with the fish. You mark the fish and then just hit them all with your bow, go in and collect all the items. So definitely be taking out as many animals as you can and collect as many resources from them as you can, as that is only going to help you and make your game easier. And since we're talking about items, that moves very well into the next thing I wanted to talk about, and that's upgrading your equipment. Just by getting animal skins and animal bones and other small resources, you can actually upgrade the size of your bags that carries your weapons, your armor, just your regular inventory, and even ammo, so you can carry more arrows and you don't have to be making them as frequently in combat. You can do this in the crafting part of your menu, and you just go in there and you can upgrade your bags. And this is definitely something you want to make sure you're doing. You want to upgrade early because having more space and more weapons is only going to make things easier for yourself. Next thing I wanted to discuss was perks. There are a lot of perks in the game, and as you level up, you can unlock them. And from my understanding, you can unlock all of them. But there are a couple perks I really want to focus on. Your very first 2 levels that you get should go into Silent Strike and Lure. Silent Strike allows you to pretty much do high damage. It'll pretty much one-shot any low-level creatures that aren't aware that you're there. So you can either sneak up to them or, hide in tall grass, and you can take them out, like I said, low-level ones in one shot. And there are perks later that can increase the damage, so you can take out pretty much anything in one shot except for extremely high-level and high HP mobs that are way later in the game. The other perk that you should really get after you get Silent Strike is Lure. Lure allows you to basically whistle to line of sight one single enemy, and they'll come to where you whistled. So this is great to hide in tall grass, and then use Lure to have the enemy come in, and then Silent Strike and rinse repeat. It's very easy to clear camps and areas this way, and those are the first 2 perks that I think you're going to get the most value out of the entire game. So those are the first 2 you want to get, especially since it's only going to take 2 points. So as soon as you have 2 skill points, you have Silent Strike and Lure, you're set right there. So those are the first 2 you want to go. The next perk I want to talk about is Tinker. This is actually a tier 4 perk, so it takes a little bit to get, but you want this because this allows you to remove mods from your armor and weapon without losing them. That way you can get like a high damage mod, slap it in a weapon, and then when you replace that weapon, you're not losing it because you can remove it and move it around. So Tinker is definitely one you want to get. If you do put mods in a weapon and you don't have Tinker yet, and then you start using another weapon, just hold on to that weapon until you get Tinker, until you can move the mods out, and that way you can use them elsewhere. But Tinker is definitely one you want to focus and try and get early, and will definitely help you out. Next thing I'd like to talk about might not apply to everyone. If you pre-ordered the game, they said that you would get all these different items, and maybe for some other reason you have special items that you're going to get. But when you load up the game, you don't notice them, and I was wondering, I'm like, where are these items? And I was actually a decent bit into the game before I figured out where they are, and you have to go to a merchant, and then you go down to resource boxes. From there, you can actually buy all the boxes for free that are pre-ordered. After you buy the boxes, you then have to go into your inventory and use them. After using them, you then have the items. So if you pre-ordered the game and you have any of these special items, go to a merchant ASAP and get these boxes. Also, even if you didn't pre-order them, every merchant has a free box that you can purchase. So it's definitely good to get. It's generally not much. It'll just give you like metal shards, so basically currency, and maybe 1 or 2 other resources, but it's completely free and you can get it from each merchant. So each time you go to a new merchant, feel free to go in there and purchase a free box just for some extra resources. Next thing I wanted to touch on was campfires and towns. If you look on your HUD and on your map, you'll see like a little campfire, or you'll see something that looks like 4 little houses. The 4 houses are towns, and you can fast travel to towns, and campfires are places where you can fast travel, and campfires are used to save. When you look on your HUD or your map, campfires will either show up gray or green. Gray means you have not unlocked it, green means you have. So a green place you can fast travel to. You also only need to be within 50 feet, or whatever the distance marking is in the game when you have something targeted, to unlock it. So it's very easy to, put a target on a campfire that's close to a place that you're going, and just make sure you swing by, get within 50 yards to unlock it, and then you can keep going. So that's really good, and it's good to unlock as many towns and campfires as you can, just to make fast traveling around easier, so you can get to places faster. And the last thing I wanted to touch on this video was fast travel. You can get fast travel packs either in resource boxes, you can craft them, or even somewhat early in the game you can actually get a golden fast travel pack that has unlimited uses and is never consumed. You can craft the fast travel pack, so I wouldn't worry about them early in the game, but before you're headed to Meridian, about that time, the merchants you should start running into when you're headed there should be carrying a golden fast travel pack, but that's going to be in resources at the very bottom. I didn't find it until later, so it might have been slightly earlier than what I'm saying, but you need to go into resources and it'll be all the way at the bottom. You do need some skins to be able to make the purchase, along with just some metal shards, so take note of that. I believe it's a fox skin, but having unlimited fast travel is definitely something good and something that you want to pick up. But even if you don't, fast travel is pretty plentiful. It's easy to craft, so it's definitely something you want to utilize, especially since it's a pretty big world. So make sure you're using them, and when you can, definitely get the golden one so you can have unlimited fast travels. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some value out of it. This should make your playthrough of Horizon much easier and better. These are things that I wish I knew when I started the game. It would have made things a little easier on me, but I'm glad to be giving you these tips now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and may you have success in all you do.